Alrighty, we are back home from Bali and we need to answer the biggest question. How fat did we get? Oh my god, 99.95. Basically 100 kilos, which would mean we gained 4 kilos in 1 week, so we got fat as hell. But no, post-Bali physique. The legs, maybe a little less separation. The midsection, very similar. And the back, I would hesitate to say the same. So you might be wondering why the hell I'm not at all concerned about gaining 4 kilograms in 1 week while on holiday. And the reality is, at the absolute worst case scenario, probably one of those kilos is fat, but very unlikely. I would say it's much more likely that barely any of that is fat. Gaining fat and losing fat takes time. Like, even if I was to starve myself for an entire week, not eat anything and just drink water, you likely wouldn't even notice that much of a difference between the before and after pictures, even though it's the most extreme diet possible. The reality is that both fat loss and fat gain take time. And the reason I gained 4 kilos is simply because of how much I was eating. Going into the Bali trip, I went on a deficit to get very lean, which means I wasn't eating anywhere near as much food as I normally would. And when I'm eating less food, there's a lot less carbs in my diet. And how many carbs you eat directly influences how much water your body holds. If you go from eating 100 grams of carbs a day to 400 grams of carbs, depending on how large you are, you could gain 2, 3, 4, 5 kilos in 1 day of just water weight. And that's not even taking into account how much salt we're eating. When you eat out at restaurants or at different places, they tend to use a lot more salt. And the more salt you have, the more water your body holds. So long story short, if you go on a holiday, don't be shocked to see the scales go up by a bunch and think you gained a ton of fat. I had a damn good holiday and I enjoyed being able to eat whatever the hell I wanted without worrying about a bit of fat. But now that the holiday's over, we're back to the real world. We are back on plan, and this time we enter our growth phase, which means I'll transition into eating a lot more food. The way I like to do it is not switch from very low calories in a diet to straight away going into heaps of calories for a bulk. I tend to do at least a week phase of eating basically at maintenance before transitioning into higher calories. And this bulk, I do want to be more careful and choose calories from cleaner sources. Like, it is more difficult for me to bulk than it is to cut, simply because I'm a larger human. To eat in a surplus typically involves me having to eat at least 4,000 calories. Even if I spend the whole day at home doing nothing, my body will just burn around 3,600 calories as its baseline. It is quite simple to get a rough calculation of your total daily expenditure, because there's a lot of online calculators that you can use. The calculators are never perfect, but they'll give you a rough estimate, and then over the weeks of tracking your own calories, it's pretty easy to get a pretty accurate number yourself by adjusting things based on the rate of weight loss or weight gain. So the reason I want this bulk to be a lot cleaner eating is because in my last volume, I got too fluffy. That's the reality. I put on a bit too much fat, and I want to test eating cleaner and see how much of a difference that makes on my body composition. I know the total calories are the biggest determining factor. I also feel like cleaning up my diet to be like 90% plus from clean calories is something definitely worth trying. The only annoying thing about that is, because I will have to push my calories so high, eating from clean sources makes it more difficult, because it's much easier to eat in high calories when it's like caloric dense shit food, like a bag of chips, a packet of lollies, packed calories. But like stuff like rice and lean meat really don't. So basically, I'll just have to eat a lot more volume. My diet has always been relatively clean, but in the past bulk, I start needing to push more and more calories. That always does get difficult for me. We're just gonna have to lock it in and do our best this bulk. You guys can hold me accountable. Right now, because this is the very start of the bulk, we won't have to do anything crazy, but moving into it, we'll probably need to incorporate shake with olive oil and oats, just caloric dense food that is still relatively healthy. It's very easy, Hello, buddy. He wants to be a part of the video too. But the best thing about shakes is, 1, you can pack a lot of calories into a small shake, and 2, it's so easy for your body to digest, and you end up feeling hungrier sooner than if you were to eat a regular clean food meal. But back onto the subject for water for a second. That is also the biggest influence in your physique, especially towards the end of like a deficit period. Like, if you really want to make drastic difference in your physique quickly, fat loss is simply not the way to go at all, because that shit takes time. My single best physique photos while away on the Bali trip came from the night after a heavy drinking session. And the reason for that is that alcohol is a diuretic. When you drink a lot, you piss a lot of your bodily fluids out, and that makes a very big difference when you're already lean. It just makes all your muscles pop more, and like especially in my abdominal region, having less water on my body just makes my abs look much better. Drinking is probably the worst way to get that dehydrated look. Like you can do it without the alcohol. You can simply water load, like drink heaps for a few days, and on the day you want to look really good or have a photo shoot, you just simply stop drinking anywhere near as much and just take sips. And your body will naturally get rid of all that excess water. But I was on a holiday, so I wasn't going to go to all that effort just to look good. That is more for competitions and stuff, where a lot of carb loading and water loading comes into effect. But fundamentally enough, it's also the most dangerous part about bodybuilding, because what like almost all the bodybuilders use is things called diuretics, which forces all the water and the electrolytes your body needs out of it. Like there's been so many horror stories, especially recently, of people like passing out and dying backstage due to misuse of diuretics. Like even one of the most famous bodybuilders of all time, Ronnie Coleman, nearly died because of misuse of them. Things like that are just not worth messing with at all, in my opinion. All right, we are ready to rock and roll. We are at the gym, and today is back day, baby. I just had a manager come out and refund me because I got straight up scammed. That water there yesterday, I grabbed one, it says $3 on it, and then I got a notification on my phone and I got charged like $8. I feel like I got scammed. It's not even about the money, it was just the fact I got scammed by this vending machine. But it's all good, I got refunded. So, seeing as the back day, we're gonna start off with my favorite, and that is pull-ups, baby. So, before we left on our holiday, we were 96 kilos and we got 10 reps. So to beat that, all we'd have to do is hit 10 reps now that we're 100 kilos, and that would be an improvement. But I want to do one better. I want to get more reps. Now that we've got a lot more food in our system, we're no longer in a deficit, we should be stronger. So getting 11 reps is definitely feasible, and that's something I want right now. $12.5, piss easy. It is truly underrated how important rest and good food is in order for strength. I'm pretty happy with the deficit though. We didn't lose much strength and most of our lifts just stayed the same. But now that we're in our volume session, it's really important our lifts start to go up and we achieve hypertrophy and increase the weight, because that means we'll be increasing the muscle too. So 3 sets complete and we only got 9 reps in the last set, so I did go down by 1 each time. So bent over bench supported rows is probably the best back exercise for me. Right from day one when I started to use gym, something about it just felt good. Especially that stretch you get at the bottom, like I can basically feel my lats growing. And exercise selection in the gym, it's important you choose stuff that not only works well for you, but you enjoy doing. It's also one of those exercises I'm just like bugging after doing. Takes it out of me. So now the third and final back exercise. We're going to do 4 sets of lat pull downs, and I got an interesting technique I'll show you. So what I did there with 12 full range of motion, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Lat pull downs, and then right at the end I did some lengthened partials, just completely burn out. Seeing as this is the last back exercise, we're going to wring every bit of muscle growth possible out and completely burn our muscle out here. And this technique seems to work the best for me. Now time to supersets with shoulders and arms. We do some rear cable flies and then also some overhead tricep extension. Seeing as these are smaller muscles, you can easily superset them and just get your workout done quicker and, in my opinion, better. Alrighty, bloody successful workout. I honestly wanted to keep going and throw some forearms in because I haven't been doing them recently, but the GoPro sucks in the dark and it's starting to lose some light, so I thought I'd better get out of there. So with the arms, I just end up spamming the crap out of them. With like the bigger muscle groups, the quads, lats, chest, usually keep the reps within 10 to 12 and the sets within 3 to 4. But with the smaller muscle groups like your shoulders, your arms, your triceps, what I found works the best is absolutely spamming them and sometimes pushing the rep count up a lot higher and doing lighter weights. Now, I think there's a little bit of science behind that that's a bit controversial, with the shorter twitch muscle fibers tending to be in those smaller muscles, like more of them, making high reps more advantageous in stuff like the biceps and shoulders. I think there's a bit of controversy there with two sides to that argument. But the main important thing is finding what works best for you, and this has been working best for me. No Subway today, unfortunately. I got a hell of a lot of meat in the fridge that I need to power through with only a few days left on its expiry. So that gets priority. There is nothing worse than having to throw out protein that goes unused. It's like literally a crime against humanity. So when you start working out, if you end up getting a decent coach that has a pretty balanced program for you, you can end up figuring out which muscle groups you yourself are lacking, or which muscle groups grow the slowest on you. And that's the important part of changing around and trying different things to see what works the best, which is where I came to the conclusion that arms and shoulders simply just need more volume, and high reps really works for those muscles. That's the kind of thing that honestly takes a few years to work out though, because trying a new thing, you don't really get results instantly when you're working out. The first 6 months, yes, your physique will be changing pretty drastically, but outside of that, once you lose your noob gains, the gains start slowing down, and it's really important at that point in time to really start tracking everything to the best of your ability, which for me personally is something I'm very thorough with. From DEXA scans to measuring my arms, legs, waist, everything with a tape measure, scales, recording all this information in like a notes app so I can get a timeline of what I weighed and what my exact measurements were at that said date. Obviously photos and stuff work really well too, but you want to stay motivated, and you might not notice a big difference between a photo now and a photo 3 months later. But you can look at your notes app and you can see that you're still growing. It'll incentivize you to continue, you know? And it's also great to use that data to change your own plan. That data is essentially what got me to change how I trained my arms, because I could see through measurements they simply weren't growing at the same rate as my other body parts like chest and legs. And since switching it up, I definitely like a lot prouder of my bicep. Like right now I can't even touch my shoulder, and that's something I could easily do when I first started working out, for example. It's a small shit like that. It's honestly funny being proud of losing range of motion. Like that's something that's definitely counterproductive with bodybuilding. There gets a point where having too much muscle can get in your way of being athletic. Like obviously having muscle mass helps in most athletic ventures, but it gets to a point where like if you lose range of motion, like not being able to touch your shoulder, that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's not like I'm anywhere near the muscle mass of like a bodybuilder where they can't even do basic things because they have that much mass in the way. Like for me personally, my flexibility and posture improved drastically through lifting weights, because when I was a little couch potato gaming nerd, I had like the hunchback posture, which now if you watch me walking around, I have my back upright, and that whole lifting and keeping your scapula retracted and building muscle mass on my back helped with my posture. But it wasn't that just sucked. My overall flexibility sucked too. There's a stretching exercise where you put your back and arms flat against the wall, and that's something I was incapable of doing when I started working out. My muscles not only didn't get used when I was a gaming nerd, but they didn't get stretched. All my flexibility was horrible, and simply working at the muscles and stretching them and contracting them massively helped me in so many ways. Hitting the gym isn't all about the muscle mass. The confidence, the general health benefits are incredible. Like improving your overall fitness and like VO2 max is very much so correlated in how long you're predicted to live. Like people with overall bad fitness, terrible VO2 max, don't do any training and are very sedentary, have much greater chances of dying early through all-cause mortality. That's not even up for debate. That's like a very provable fact. There's a whole host of reasons for that. People that are very sedentary also tend to have bad diets. So there's a lot of correlating factors, like lipids and heart health will just generally be worse in sedentary people. And heart disease is the #1 biggest killer, much more so than cancer. Getting closer to my house, and one thing I just realized, the pump has deflated. I can now touch my shoulder. Fuck! Yeah, the pump really doesn't last that long. That's one thing when I started at the gym, I didn't truly understand as well. Like at the time, I obviously didn't have much muscle mass. This pump that people talked about when you don't have that much muscle mass is kind of irrelevant. Like a 10% larger small muscle doesn't make much of a difference. But when you actually start to build the muscle, like a few years into training, you can really tell the difference. It's at like 10 or 15% larger due to all the glycogen and blood flowing inside of it. And it truly is a good feeling to be all pumped up after the gym. I'm truly glad I not only started enjoying the gym, but it's part of my routine. So I think it's something that's going to be permanent from here on forward for the rest of my life. I can't imagine a zero gym Zeus. There might become a time where it's not a priority of mine and I reduce the days that I go, but I can never see this just completely going from my life. At this point, it's just a staple. Like, I'm never going to stop brushing my teeth in the morning, for example. Like, the benefits are just undeniable. You look better, you feel better, you are better. And it doesn't have to be the gym either. Like, if you're watching this and you don't work out, you can find something you enjoy, and if that's riding a goddamn bicycle, that's going to have very similar effects if you improve your overall fitness level from just riding bikes or going for a run. I feel like for most of you guys, that's a no-brainer. But when I was a little gaming gremlin nerd, it's not even something I would ever think of being a benefit. And I used to think it was a waste of time when all my homies would hit the gym. But then again, a lot of them didn't take it seriously, so weren't getting spectacular results. It's the kind of thing you don't want to half-ass and you want to go all in on. Nutrition, intensity, just everything on lock. And you could get like 5 years of gains of somebody not taking it as seriously in like 1.5, 2 years if you're completely locked in. And especially if you can have a coach like me to hold you accountable and get you on track. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video because I still have some Bali stuff I need to get out there. But if I do have my website all set up and ready to go, there'll be a link in the description below where you can hire me as your trainer. But if it's not there, it's not ready yet, and you're going to have to wait. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's about to get dark. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Have a wonderful day.